All right, shalom, everyone, and welcome once again. We are here with part 2. Can the stranger receive salvation before entering the kingdom? And we started about 2 hours ago, and power cut got us off, so now we are back on, and we will just be pausing for a little, stalling a little, so that others can get on. And before the break, we were in Isaiah 56. We were looking into Isaiah 56. That's where we will continue. Now, this video is part of a series dealing with redemption and salvation. We started 2 weeks ago with a video proof. Salvation is only for one nation. Then last week, we looked at the question, Israel only can be saved? Now today we're looking at whether or not the stranger can receive salvation before entering the kingdom, as it is believed that there is no way a stranger can get salvation. Salvation is only for Yasharal, and as we have been showing, that we have had a misunderstanding of the difference between salvation and redemption. And we were saying redemption is only for the children of Yasharal, but salvation is for all, and we'll see how this works out and why it is like that, and the prophecies that show what will happen when this salvation and redemption takes place. All right, so somebody check YouTube, please. Huh? All right. So I guess they will come on, because when they are repeating, people do not like delays in their videos. So we have been on for 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. That's the 3 minutes. So let's go to his house will be a house of prayer for all people. Isaiah 56, 1-8.
Barak is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Shabbat from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree.
All right. So we were speaking before the break that the son of the stranger that has joined himself to Yahuwah are those who are truly grafted in to the house of Yasharal. And we were speaking about being grafted in is different from saying you believe. Being grafted in is grafted in among his people, which means you will not reject his people. So the stranger that had joined himself to Yahuwah must never say, Yahuwah hath utterly separated me from his people. So what does that word utterly there mean? Off the bat, it means totally. Utterly. Which means to divide, literally or figuratively, separate, distinguish, differ, put difference, divide asunder, separate self, sever out utterly. So the utterly separated means the Most High will not totally separate you from his people. But there is a separation. As we are going to see, the prophecies is for the strangers to join themselves to Yasharal, to cleave to them, but to be the possession of the children of Yasharal. So many Christians and other strangers who just want to partake of Yahuwah's salvation without having anything to do with his people use this to say, okay, it's not about any nation. Yahuwah will has joined me to his people when I keep the Sabbath and keep his covenant. And then they use that now to have nothing to do with his people. This is not for you. These are for the people who love his people. You cannot love the Father and hate his people. You cannot want to be joined to the Father and be separated from his people. Very important. Verse 4.
For thus saith Yahuwah unto the eunuchs that keep my Shabbats, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in mine house and within my walls a place and a name better than of sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off.
Verse 6.
Also, the sons of the stranger that join themselves to Yahuwah to serve him and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Shabbat, from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring to my Kadosh mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar. For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people.
So the Gentiles see this and say, hey, Christians, when the Hebrew Israelites, when we speak about who we are, we speak about the nation, they use this to reject the nation. Say, hey, they will bring me to his holy mountain and make me joyful in the house of prayer. But you just need to go to Isaiah 14, verse 1 to 2, and see when they are brought in what is going to happen to them. Saved to serve. These are the strangers who he will bring to his holy mountain. Let's see what will happen to them. Isaiah 14, 1 to 2.
For Yahuwah will have mercy on Yaakov, and will yet choose Yasharel.
So what did we say earlier in part 1? We said earlier that redemption is for Yasharal. And with redemption comes Romans 9. To them pertaineth the adoption and the covenants and the promises and the service of Alua and everything. These are not for the strangers. The strangers will be able to join them in salvation and to partake of worshiping Yahuwah, but they will not be the ones who the Most High has chosen. Isaiah 14, 1 to 2.
For Yahuwah will have mercy on Yaakov, and will yet choose Yasharel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yaakov.
So this is what it means as not utterly separated me from his people. Utterly separate. There is a separation here, but it's not an utter separation. They will be joined to Yasharal. And let's see what will happen to them when they are joined to Yasharal. Verse 2.
And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place, and the house of Yasharel shall possess them in the land of Yahuwah for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
So the servants and handmaids, the strangers, will become servants and handmaids. They will be joyful in the house of prayer, yes, but they shall be servants. So the strangers must never ever let this get to them, to let them believe that they can disrespect, ignore, reject his people. Okay? All right? So for those who do not believe that strangers shall be saved again, let's go to Jeremiah 12, verses 14 to 17. Promises for Gentiles to be built in the midst of his people, and these Gentiles are even the Gentiles who misled his people. You see, Yahuwah is so merciful. Jeremiah 12, verse 12. Yahuwah is so merciful, we cannot fathom his awesome mercy. 14 to 17.
Thus saith Yahuwah against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Yasharel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land, and pluck out the house of Yehudah from among them. And it shall come to pass, After that I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, and every man to his land.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people.
Oh, wait. Who is he speaking about?
Yasharal.
Yeah, my people are Yasharal, but who is he speaking about? If they will diligently learn the ways of my people.
The stranger.
The strangers. Let's see what Yahuwah says he will do with them.
And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people.
Stop there again. This is what we said earlier. Didn't we say earlier that you as a stranger cannot just come as a religion and say, I believe, and reject his people? You have to diligently learn the ways of his people. And how do you learn the ways of his people?
Be amongst them.
If you are not among them. You cannot say you're grafting and you just say, oh, I believe in Jesus. And you go over there. You say you're Israelites. It doesn't matter who we are. The Most High has given me an opportunity. He says he will bring me to his holy mountain if I keep his Sabbath. I don't need you. I don't have anything to do with you. Read verse 16 again.
And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, Yahuwah liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, then shall they be built in the midst of my people.
Who is it? Who are these? These are even the Edomites who gave us the names of Baal.
JC and GOD.
And LORD. Yeah? Verse 17.
But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, saith Yahuwah.
See it? Very simple. The Most High is merciful. This is why Jonah ran away, because he knew that Yahuwah is merciful and would have mercy upon the Assyrians. This is a similar thing. If the people who taught us all sorts of foolishness, all sorts of lies, if they repent, turn around now to diligently learn our ways. Yee. And isn't that what we've been speaking about here? The strangers that come here have to learn our ways. Not we learning their ways. Because their ways has gotten the whole world in a mess. And their ways has had us under oppression for centuries. Now it's time to do what? Learn
Our ways.
our ways. So we are the ones who lead the strangers, not the strangers who lead us. So right away there we see the stranger. The Most High says, they shall be. What will he do with them? Then shall they be built in the midst of my people. Built in the midst. So those people are thinking that no stranger can have salvation. Is going to go on and on. All right? So let's hear what Hamashiach said. Matthew 8, 5-13. Let's hear what he said about the prospects of strangers getting salvation. Matthew 8, 5-13. Matthew 8, 5-13.
And when Yahusha was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion beseeching him, and saying, Master, my servant lieth at home, sick of the palsy, grievously tormented.
All right, so let me tell you the strategy of the Hebrew Israelites here. Their strategy is that everywhere you see something implying that this is a foreigner, they turn it around and say, this foreigner is an Israelite. So when they see the centurion, they say, oh, he was an Israelite. Now, if you look at the context, you'll see that it is not so. Continue.
And Yahusha said unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Master, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. When Yahusha heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, Truly I say unto you, I have not found so great emunah, no, not in Yasharel.
You see that? That gives you the context. He didn't say, I have not found so great faith in Judah. He said in Yasharal, which means that he is implying, he's telling you that this centurion is not an Israelite. Continue.
And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob in the kingdom of Shamayim. But the children of the kingdom.
So who are the children of the kingdom?
Yasharel.
Who is the kingdom promised to?
Yasharel.
So this is telling you explicitly that this is a non-Israelite. Read from 11. Read from 10 into 12, please.
When Yahusha heard it, he marveled, and said unto them that followed, Truly I say unto you, I have not found so great emunah, no, not in Yasharel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob in the kingdom of Shamayim. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Yahusha said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour.
So they can go and twist this any way they want. The context tells you that this is a non-Israelite. Now, we were reading the books of the Netzarim some time ago. Chapter 10, verse 45. We were reading the books of the Netzarim some time ago. And let me get it on the screen. I should have gotten it on. Yeah. And it was very, very informative, that book. Very informative. And it has something to say about the prospect of the Gentiles being saved. It's at chapter 10, 45. Chapter 10, I don't know the page as yet. Chapter 10, 45. Chapter 13. Chapter 9. Yeah. 10. Page 107 out of 212. Page 107. Where am I? 107 out of 212. Verse 45. Read it, please.
One of the 12 said, Shall we confine our mission to the Yahudim? Yahusha replied, Enlightenment is the inheritance of all men.
Read that again, please.
Yahusha replied, Enlightenment is the inheritance of all men.
Do what?
Carry the message to all the 70 nations of the earth.
Now, this one verse can end this teaching. But then you will say, these are books that are not. I'm just playing your advocate. You're saying that this book was not in the Bible. So for those who believe, they believe. One of the 12 disciples says, Shall we confine our mission to the Jews? Yahusha replied, Enlightenment is inheritance of everybody. I'm paraphrasing. Enlightenment is the inheritance of every man. Carry the message to all the 70 nations of the earth. So when it says, go and preach the word to the nations, he's speaking to bring it to everyone. Why? He was promised to be a light to light the Gentiles, a light to light the nations. So there we have it. Now we continue. What did Hamashiach say, part 2? Matthew 22, verses 1 to 14. Let's see if they're going to say that this person is an Israelite as well. Let me see, 22, 1 to 14. Let's go.
And Yahusha answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of Shamayim is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come.
All right, so this is a similitude of what happened to our people, to Yasharal. We were called, no one answered. The same thing is replying today. The Most High said, flee out of the midst of Babylon, come out. Our people are hesitant to come out. They do not want to hear. It is the same parable here. Let's see what happened. Continue. And send forth
his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready come unto the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
So when we say flee out of Babylon, this is what they do. Everybody goes to his own thing, minded his own business, trying to continue in their ways of life. Verse 6.
And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth. And he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their city. Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
Were not worthy, because they had no interest. And let's see what he'll do.
Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests.
You see it? Both bad and good. Both Israelites and Gentiles were gathered, and let's see what will happen.
And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless.
What is the wedding garment referring to? The righteousness of the saints. So he was in, but he was not righteous. And let's see what will happen.
And he said unto him, where was it, 13?
Yeah, 13.
Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Many are called, few are chosen. So that is telling us that when he gathers everyone, what will be the qualifying factor is righteousness. Okay? So remember, it says he did not have on a wedding garment. How camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And let's go to Revelation 19 to see the wedding garment. Revelation 19, verse 7.
Let us be glad and rejoice, and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white.
For the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. So what it's telling us in Matthew 22 is that the children of Israel will be called first. When they reject, then he's going to call people from all over, other nations. When they come in, it will not be who is an Israelite or who is not an Israelite. It will be who is righteous. Verse 9.
And he said unto me, Right, Barak are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, These are the true sayings of Alua.
These are the true sayings of Lua. The righteousness of the saints is the qualifying factor after all are called in. There's so many things that we could do with this salvation issue. And remember, salvation is through remission of sins. And we are going to show remission of sins. Who can receive remission of sins? There's so many, we could go on and on for days upon days. Mark 1:4, salvation through remission of sins. Mark 1 verse 4. Hold on, please. Go ahead.
The voice of one crying in the wilderness, Prepare ye the way of Yahuwah, make his path straight. Yahukanan did immerse in the wilderness, and preach the immersion of repentance for the remission of sins.
Salvation through the remission of sins. Matthew 26:27-28. So brothers, you can jot down these precepts. 26:27-28, I said. Read, please.
And he took the cup and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins.
So what we are going to do, connect remission of sins and see who can have remission of sins through Yahusha. It's very easy to prove. It's so easy. Very, very easy. Romans 3:24-25. When you understand that there's a difference between redemption and salvation, easy to prove salvation for all. Romans 3:24-25.
Being justified freely by his favor through the redemption that is in Hamashiach Yahusha, whom Alua had set forth to be a propitiation through emunah in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past, through the forbearance of Alua.
So the remission of sins that are past are through Yahusha HaMashiach. Acts 10:42-43. Acts 10:42-43. Read, please.
And he commanded us to preach unto the people, and to testify that it is he which was ordained of Alua to be the judge of quick and dead, to give all the prophets witness, that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins.
So we're going to look at this word whosoever. Whosoever believeth in him shall have remission of sins. This is a contentious word. Whosoever. The Hebrew Israelites take it and say whosoever is only referring to Israelites. Everything that is for Gentiles, they say is only for Israelites. Okay? But we're going to see how this works out, how it looks. So whosoever believeth on Yahusha shall receive remission of sins. So, let me just give a little cracker to show that remission of sins is available to all. Remission of sins is available to all. Huh? Acts 2:38? No, it's yeah. So remission of sins there. Remission means freedom, pardon, deliverance, forgiveness, liberty, remission. So we just need to go to this verse. 1 John 2 verses 1 verse 2. 1 to 2. 1 John 2 verses 1 to 2. Go ahead.
My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahushua HaMashiach the righteous. And he is the propitiation for our sins.
And not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world. So the remission or propitiation or atonement of sins is available for the whole world. When he says, and he is a propitiation for our sins, who is the our he's speaking about? Who is the our? He is the propitiation for our sins. Who is the our? The children of Yasharal. And not for Yasharal only, but also for the sins of the whole world. So if remission of sins and forgiveness of sins brings salvation through Yahushua HaMashiach, and it is available for the whole world, that means the strangers have access to remission of sins and hence salvation through Yahushua HaMashiach. Why is it so easy to prove? But I don't know.
So that others would be nations, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the others, to the sins of the whole world. The whole world is the other nation. All right, so whosoever, I'm going to deal with that. The word of salvation sent to whosoever feareth Yahuwah. We're going to look in Acts 13:23 to 26 and Acts 10:43.
Of this man's seed hath Eluah, according to his promise, raised unto Yasharel, at Savior, Yahusha. When Yahuchanan had first preached before his coming the immersion of repentance to all the people of Yasharel, and as John fulfilled his course, he said, Whom think ye that I am? I am not he, but behold, there cometh one after me, whose shoes of his feet I am not worthy to loose.
Acts 13:26.
Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you feareth Eluah, to you is the word of this salvation sent.
Look in verse 26 and tell me what you see.
And whosoever the others among you, as long as they fear Eluah.
No, but look carefully. Again. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you feareth Eluah. So the stock of Abraham would be the children of Israel. And whosoever among you, these are the strangers. To you is the word of this salvation sent. It is so easy to prove this thing. But they come and they will twist this and twist that. Remember, the two ways of dealing with scripture. A priori and a posteriori. The a priori is the evil way of dealing with scripture. You have a point and you try to get scriptures to prove a point, and then you also try to tell lies on scriptures that are already there. What you have to do, you have to kill anything that goes against your belief. But with the a posteriori, this precept upon precept, line upon line, here, there, little, that leads us into the truth. Truth just leads on to truth. We don't have any contention here. We don't have to tell any lies and say, oh, that means nothing. Everything that we say here is the scripture that is leading us. We don't have to say, oh no, well, when they were talking about Gentiles, they were talking about the Israelites who were this and that. No, we let the scriptures lead. Yeah? Let's go, Acts 10:43.
To him give all the prophets witness, that through his name whosoever believeth in him, from the account of Cornelius and Kepha, therefore referring to the Gentiles, shall receive remission of sin.
Oh, this was a footnote for me. Ignore that. Sorry, ignore that 43. So whosoever. Acts 10:43 says,
To him give all the prophets witness, that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins.
Whosoever. Is this speaking of only Israelites, as the Hebrew Israelites say? And now here comes, wait for it, drum roll. Ta-da-da! John 3:16. Let's go.
For Allah so loved the world
Yay.
that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For Allah sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Now they say John 3:16 is not speaking about everyone. It is only speaking about Israelites. So they make that whosoever to mean only Israelites. But John 3:16, that whosoever is a heavy burden. Acts 13:26. No, we did that already. Oh, we did that already. So let's look at the meaning of whosoever. Let's look at the meaning of whosoever and see if it is able to give us what they say, meaning whosoever means only Israelites or only a small group of people. Let's look at the meaning from the Greek G3956. It is the word pas, including all the forms of declension. You're going to look at the meaning of declension. Including all the forms of declension, apparently a primary word. Now here are the meanings: all, any, every, the whole, all manner of means, always, always, any, anyone, daily, every, everyone, every way, as many as, nothing, thoroughly, whatsoever, whole, whosoever. All of the meanings there refer to the whole, refers to whosoever, whatever, the whole. Nothing there refers to a small segment out of a whole. And even the word declension, it says including all the forms of declension. The word declension means a class of nouns or adjectives having the same type of inflectional forms. In other words, it is saying that whosoever, the meaning of whosoever is every single meaning of it is closely related. Meaning, every single meaning of it means whosoever, the entire whole. It cannot mean a small amount out of it. And I think we did this last week of how the Hebrew Israelites twist this whosoever to say it is only for Israel. It is ingenious, it is crafty, it is of the devil. I'm telling you. Acts 22:21. I'm telling you, this is deception to its highest level. Acts 2:21.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. Ye men of Yasharel, hear these words. Yahusha of Nazareth, a man approved of Allah among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which Allah did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know.
So in verse 21, Peter was quoting Joel. In verse 22, he went on to speak about the Messiah, Yahusha, being the manifestation of the prophecies. What the Hebrew Israelites did, they took the whosoever in verse 21 and then add ye men of Israel in 22 to say the whosoever there, he was speaking to the men of Israel. So they would read it like this, Acts 2:21-22. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be saved, ye men of Israel. So there they tie it together and say the whosoever is referring to the men of Israel. But the whosoever, Peter was quoting the book of Joel, and we go to Joel 2:28-32. We cannot be listening and allow people to deceive us like this. You have had our awakening and you have had people come out and are deceiving people even in the awakening. Joel 2:28.
And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my ruach upon all flesh, And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my Ruach, and I will show wonders in Shamayim, and in the earth blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and the terrible day of Yahuwah come.
So here is where Peter was quoting. This was the last one. Go 32.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahuwah hath said, and in the remnant whom Yahuwah shall call.
And in the remnant whom Yahuwah shall call. Now, do you see anything after this? Any verse after this? This is the last verse, right? So when you go to the ye men of Israel now in Acts 2:22, let's see how they do it. Acts 2:22. Read from 21 into 22.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be saved.
So that is the book of Joel. Now, 22.
Ye men of Yasharel, hear these words. Yahusha of Nazareth, a man approved of Allah among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which Allah did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know.
Him being delivered by the determinate counsel. Why did Kepha say hear these words? Because he just finished quoting the scriptures and he says, all right, now I have quoted those scriptures, listen to me now. Why did he say ye men of Israel? Because before him were the children of Yasharal, because it was Pentecost and Yasharal was gathered before him to hear his words, because the Ruach was poured out on them before them and everyone who was paying attention. So it's not saying whosoever means the children of Israel. Whosoever means whosoever. But then he's addressing the children of Israel who were before him in 22. And going on down, he told them the things that were relevant to the children of Israel. Culminating, of course, with Acts 2:38. Repent and be immersed in the name of Yahushua Mashiach for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of Ruach HaKadosh. All right? So whosoever is speaking of whosoever. If you look at servants and handmaids in Isaiah 14:1-2, Isaiah 14:2, when it says that the children of house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahuwah for servants and handmaids, these are referring to the strangers. So in the book of Joel, when he's speaking about in the end time, his Ruach will be poured out on all flesh. Those servants and handmaids in the book of Joel matches up with the servants and handmaids in Isaiah 14:1-2, who will be going into the kingdom.
So who are the Hebrew Israelites saying is the servants and handmaids?
I have never heard them say anyone is. Because remember, look at this. Let's go into the book of Joel again. Let's show you that. I'm glad you asked, because I would have skipped this. Joel 2. All right. Let's see who will pour out his Ruach upon. Joel 2:28, and it's going to show you that the servants and handmaids are actually Gentiles. Joel 2:28.
And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my Ruach upon all flesh.
Okay, now. And who will he pour it out on?
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy.
Oh. Who is that your?
Children of Yasharel.
All right, so you have your sons and you have your daughters.
You have your old men shall see dreams.
And the old men shall dream dreams. And
your young men shall see visions.
So, and also, in addition to that, upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my Ruach. Who are these servants and handmaids? Gentiles. But most people, you didn't see it. Who noticed that? You knew that? Notice it? It's hidden. A lot of these things are hidden because we are not seeking for it. Then if you go now, you see servants and handmaids here in Joel 2:29. Go to Isaiah 14:1-2. And they will tell you, oh, the Gentiles are going to take them as servants. But look at this. Who will they take as servants? Verse 2.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Yasharel shall possess them in the land of Yahuwah
For servants and handmaids. Ha ha. You see it? That pour his ruach upon the strangers. And that is what happened in, if Shaul was telling you and Kepha was telling you that they poured out their ruach on the Gentiles as well, just as they poured it out upon us. This is a manifestation of it. All right? So, now we come to another interesting one again. Let's go to Acts 10. In Acts 10, the Israelites expressed astonishment that the Gentiles received salvation. We're going to look at that. The Gentiles, the Israelites, the circumcision, expressed astonishment that Gentiles received salvation. What we're going to look at is the fact that the Most High had prophesied over and over again that he's going to gather back the children of Israel. I want you to listen to me. If the Most High prophesied in the Old Testament, the people in the New Testament knew the prophecies that the house of Israel will be gathered back together into one Israel. They knew those prophecies. But yet still, when the Gentiles received the Ruach, they were astonished. The Hebrew Israelites want us to believe that they were astonished that the other Israelites received the Ruach. That makes no sense. And let us show what I'm talking about in Scripture. Acts 10:44. The Ruach falls on the Gentiles.
While Kepha yet spake these words, Ruach HaKadosh fell on all them which heard the word. And they of the circumcision which believed were astonished, as many as came with Kepha, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of Ruach HaKadosh.
You see? They were astonished. Why would they be astonished if a Gentile who is an Israelite received the Ruach? They wouldn't be. Couldn't be. Because they knew that the promise was for the Most High to gather them. Verse 46.
For they heard them speak with tongues and magnify Eluah. Then answered Kepha, Can any man forbid water, that these should not be immersed, which have received Ruach HaKadosh as well as we?
And
And
so it was a surprise.
he commanded them to be immersed in the name of the Master. Then prayed they him to tarry certain days.
So why the astonishment when the Most High prophesied to gather his lost people? So let's look at a couple promises of Yasharal coming back together to explain what I'm trying to say. Hosea 1:10-11. Why the astonishment when in Hosea 1:10-11 the Most High promised that he will gather them back, and those who were not a people shall be his people. Read it, please.
Yet the number of the children of Yasharel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there shall be said unto them, You are the sons of the living Eluah. Then shall the children of Yehuda, then shall the children of Yehuda and the children of Yasharel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the days of Yezreel.
You see what I'm saying? They knew all of these prophecies. They knew that it was promised that the children of Israel who were banished would come back together with them. They knew that the children of Yahudah and the children of Yasharal will be gathered together. So why, when the Gentiles received the Ruach, would they be astonished? It has to be that these Gentiles who received it were not Israelites. Common sense. There is no other way. Let's go again and look at another one. There is no other way. Let's go to Jeremiah 31, 6 to 12. Jeremiah 31, 6 to 12.
For there shall be a day that the watchman upon the mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto Yahuwah our Eluah.
There we have again another prophecy of them coming back together. Continue.
For thus saith Yahuwah, Sing with gladness for Yaakov, and shout among the chief of the nation. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahuwah, save thy people, the remnant of Yasharal.
They knew that there will be a remnant of Yasharal in the end. They knew that Ephraim will come back with them. Why would they be astonished when the Gentiles received the Ruach? It must be that the Gentiles who received the Ruach were not Israelites. Verse 8.
Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Yasharel, and Ephraim is my firstborn.
I'm a father to Yasharal, and Ephraim is my firstborn. It is a promise to gather back Ephraim back to him. Now hear verse 10.
Hear the word of Yahuwah, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattereth Yasharel will gather him, and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock.
So if they knew all of these prophecies to gather back Yasharal, why were they shocked when the Gentiles received Ruach HaKadosh? It can only be because they were not Israelites. Ezekiel 37, 19 to 28. Might just brush this one because it is so obvious. Ezekiel 37, and we know what that is. From we hear Ezekiel 37, we know it's the dry bones of the whole house of Yasharal. Verse 19.
Say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Yasharel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Yehudah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
And they shall be one in my hand. Both of them coming together. They knew this prophecy, yet they were astonished when the Gentiles received the Ruach. Even Kepha himself was astonished when the Gentiles received the Ruach. So why would they? Now you can read the rest of it from unto verse 28 to get more insight. So this is why the circumcision would not be astonished that other Israelites were given the Ruach. They would not, because they knew all these prophecies. Okay? Now, here's what Kepha said when they received the Ruach. Go to the right where Gentiles hear the good news.
Then Kepha, Acts 10:34. Then Kepha opened his mouth and said, Of a truth I perceive that Eluah is no respecter of persons.
Because what?
But in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him.
And this matches the parable that Yahusha said when he says, which he saw a man that did not have on his garment because he did not have righteousness. But in every nation, and the Hebrew Israelites would say in every nation means Israelites in every nation, not this time. In every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. Yahuwah is no respecter of persons. He respects Yasharal, the nation. Exodus 2:25, but he is no respecter of individual persons.
Like, look at Job, for example. Job was, to be said, an Edomite. But because he had the fear of Allah, look how much the Most High accepted him.
That's it. In every nation, he that feareth Yahuwah and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. Imagine you doing righteousness and the Most High reject you. No, you're from another nation. You're righteous, but I can't take you. That's not Yahuwah. That's not Yahuwah. So let's look at the Jerusalem Council, the conversion of the Gentiles again to get more insights into this. There's so much on this, so much evidence, I'm telling you. Acts 15, 1 to 11. Acts 15, 1 to 11. It's all over the scriptures. If you don't twist them, you'll get it. Go ahead.
And certain men which came from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moshe, you cannot be saved. When therefore Shaul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Shaul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question.
All right, and as we were saying, we have order here. The great apostle Shaul had to still follow Yahuwah's orders because Jerusalem was the headquarters, and Peter, James, John, and those were the persons who were in charge over up there in the headquarters. Verse 3.
And being brought on their way by the assembly, they passed through Phoenice and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles, and they caused great joy unto all the brethren. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the assembly and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that Allah had done with them. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the Torah of Moshe. And the apostles and elders came together for to consider of this matter. And when there had been much disputing, Kepha rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago Allah made choice among us that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the good news and believe.
So who are these Gentiles? Are these Israelites who are abroad? Verse 8.
And Allah, which knoweth the hearts, bear them witness, giving them Ruach HaKadosh, even as he did unto us, and put no difference between us and them, purifying their hearts by emunah.
By emunah. Put no difference between them and us. Continue.
Now therefore, why tempt ye Allah to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear?
So tell me something now. Look at that verse and tell me what you got. It's a revelation in that verse again along the lines of what we are saying.
It's saying that neither Yasharel or Kepha at that time in the council nor our forefathers were able to bear that same burden.
Yeah, but what's the implication? Look at it. Now therefore, why tempt ye Yahuwah to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples? Who are the disciples he's speaking about? Which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear. Our fathers nor we is speaking of whom?
Yasharel.
Ah.
So the disciples is the Gentiles.
Ah. You see it? On the neck of the disciples. Why he's calling them the disciples? Not that the Gentiles only are disciples. He's speaking to the disciples in reference to Paul and Barnabas' question about the Gentile disciples. which neither our fathers, the fathers of Yasharal, nor we, the children of Israel, were able to bear. Continue. 11.
But we believe that through the favor of the Master Yahushua HaMashiach we shall be saved, even as they.
Look at that. We shall be saved even as they. Who are we? We, the children of Israel, shall be saved even as they, the Gentiles. Now, why is this so astonishing? Kephah and all, they knew the law, they knew the Torah, they knew the promises. Why would they be so? Why would this be something to speak about if these Gentiles were Israelites? They were not Israelites, here from the other nations. That's why it is so outstanding. That is why it's recorded so many times and they give you this long thing account, because they were not Israelites. Verse 12.
Then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Shaul, declaring what miracles and wonders Elua had wrought among the Gentiles by them.
All right, so now we are going to come to a great deception again in the Bible. The Gentiles, the lying pen of the scribes. We are going to show how they mistranslated this account that they said James did. We're going to match it up with the Torah and see the lie that they did. Because the Gentiles cannot put certain things in there because it would kill their Christian belief. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Verse 13.
And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Shimon had declared how Elua at the first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written.
All right, we're going to go there. Let's switch a little now and see this lie. Verse 17. Yeah. Let's see what he says here. Continue.
After this I will return, and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after Yahuwah, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Yahuwah, who doeth all these things.
You see verse 17? Verse 17 is a deliberate mistranslation, I believe. Because if they had translated this account from the book of Amos, it will be showing that the Gentiles will be serving the children of Yasharal. But who were the people who translated the New Testament for us? Who gave us the New Testament?
Same one that gave you the names of Baal.
The same children of Edom. So guess what? Amos had predicted that the children of Edom will be possessed by Israel. Edom cannot write that in verse 17. Let us compare the account in the book of Amos. Because what we are going to show, as we have always been showing, that the Gentiles are saved to serve. Let's go compare Amos 9:11 to 12 with Acts 15:16 to 17. Amos 9:11.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old.
What it is saying there is that the tabernacles or the kingdom of David will be raised up, and it will have the same similitude as the kingdom of old. And you just need to go to like 2 Kings 8 to see how David's kingdom was. David had every nation under subjection to him. When Yahushua HaMashiach returns, it is the same thing. He is going to have all nations in subjection to him, and all nations shall serve his people, and he will have servants of all the nations, especially those nations that held us captive. Now, Acts 15:16 says, After this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. Now, if you take close scrutiny, you will see that both verses are almost the same. There's nothing that is missing out of these verses. Now, the next verse, I want you to look carefully and see what they omitted. Amos 9, verse 12.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahuwah that doth this.
So when the tabernacle of David is reset in the end time, they will possess the remnant of Edom, or own the children of Edom as servants and handmaids, and of all the heathen which are called by the name of Yahuwah, which means that every single Gentile believer will be possessed by the children of Yasharal, just as in the days of David. But look at verse 17 now in Acts 15 and tell me the difference that you see. Amos 9, verse 12. Look at Acts 15, 17. Read it, please.
That the residue of men might seek after Yahuwah, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Yahuwah, who doeth all these things.
All right, look at it carefully and look at the twisting that they did.
He took away, possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen.
No, they have the heathen as the Gentiles.
Took the possess the remnant out.
You see it? Yes. No, they make it seem as if the residue of men might seek after Yahuwah, which would be the residue, the remnant of Israel, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called. So the Gentiles will join them, and there'll be one big happy family, and there'll be no account for what the Gentiles have done to our people for these hundreds of years. Saved to serve. The Gentiles, salvation, yes, but it comes at a cost. You will have to serve the children of Yasharal. So which one do we believe? Which one do we believe? Do we believe the Amos prophecy that says they will possess the remnant of Edom? Or do we believe the New Testament that implies that everyone will be nice and dandy and will be one? So comparing both of them, which one should we believe? The Old Testament or the New Testament? And we just have to go to Isaiah 8:20. What does it say?
To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
So we have to go to the account in Amos, to the testimony. Amos bore testimony to the law. We have to listen to him. Even in the New Testament, it tells you, Romans 3:21.
But now, the righteousness of Eluah without the Torah is manifested,
being witnessed by the law
Torah and the
prophets. The Torah and the prophets is a witness, which means if it does not conform to the law and the prophets, then you have to throw it out. So that Acts 15:17, that is implying that the remnant of Israel will seek Yahuwah and the Gentiles, rejecting the possession of Edom and of the heathen, that has to be thrown out. All right? So another thing to answer the question of whether or not strangers shall be saved before entering into the kingdom, we are going to show that no unrighteous shall inherit the kingdom. No unrighteous shall inherit the kingdom. And let's go to 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9 to 10. So if the Gentiles, if the strangers will join them, Isaiah 14, 1 to 2, the strangers shall be joined with them, and the children of Israel shall take them into the land for strangers and handmaid. You cannot enter the land being unrighteous. That means you have to be saved to enter the land. 1 Corinthians 6, 9 to 10.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Eluah?
Inherit the kingdom. Inherit the kingdom. Pay note to that phrase. We're going to look at that next. Inherit the kingdom. Can the Gentiles inherit the kingdom? Start again, please.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Allua? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Allua.
No sinner shall inherit the kingdom. Can Gentiles inherit the kingdom? Let's see. Yechezkel 47:21-23. Can the Gentiles, can the strangers inherit the kingdom? Read, please.
So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Yasharel. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you,
and to the strangers that sojourn among you. So the strangers that sojourn among you can inherit the kingdom. Read 22 again, please. This is one of the verses that the Hebrew Israelites reject. Not reject, avoid, sorry.
And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Yasharel. They shall have inheritance
with you among the tribes of Yasharel. Go to the next verse.
And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him as inheritance, saith Yahuwah Allua.
And what did we just see earlier? No sinner can or unrighteous can inherit the kingdom. That means the strangers who inherit the kingdom must be saved. Notice it says, the strangers, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you. What does that beget children imply?
They'll be living there. They'll even have their own children amongst the children of Yasharel.
All right. This grafted in thing is not hey, you go over there. I believe in Jesus, so I'm okay. Or I believe in Yahusha, so I'm okay. I don't care about you Israelites, this thing they're talking about, you're Israelites and you're promised people, and I don't care about that. I believe in the Messiah. I keep his covenants. I am saved. The inheritance is for people who have children among you. And this children, by the way, is not mixed marriage. Don't think it is mixed marriage, because we're going to see that next. They have their own children, so they have their families and they are among you. They give up their nation and everything and come among you and live among you. These are the people who have, and I'm telling you that there are very few Gentiles who have truly been grafted in. Very, very few. So, let's get confirmation that Gentiles who inherit the kingdom are saved to serve. Remember, unrighteous cannot enter the kingdom, so they must be saved. But they are going to get an inheritance. So that sounds, the Gentiles, that sounds like, you're good. You're just going to be equal to the children of Israel. But to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. The book of Baikra, Leviticus 25, verse 39. Will those Gentiles who inherit the kingdom, will they be one with the children of Israel? Will they be equal to the children of Israel? Let us see what the Bible says. Let's go to verse 39. 39. Read, please.
And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant, but as an hired servant, and as a sojourner. He shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee. both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim. They shall not be sold as bondmen.
They shall not be sold as
bondmen.
So, when we saw in Joel, when he says upon the servants and handmaids, it has to be speaking about strangers. It's not speaking about Israelites. The Israelites shall not be sold as bondmen. Verse 43.
Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy Eluah. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
So when it says in Joel and in Isaiah 14, 1-2, and in Joel it speaks about he will pour out his ruach upon the servants and handmaids. The bondmen are of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. In other words, you cannot have bondmen and bondmaids, slaves of Israel. They have to be of the other nations. Now let's see something significant that's going to impact the strangers who had inheritance that we read in the book of Ezekiel 47. Moreover,
of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you.
So these are in Ezekiel 47. These are the strangers that get inheritance among you. Let's see the significance for them. Read again, please.
Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land.
Read that the last part. And they shall be?
And they shall be your possession.
Go back to Ezekiel 47 now. Remember, no, read 45 again. Let it rivet in our mind. Read 45.
Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them you shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession.
They shall be your
possession.
So let's go back to Ezekiel 47. Where is it? Is it Ezekiel 47? It's not here.
Yeah, 21-23.
All right. I'll have to look for it again. It got missed up. Ezekiel 47. 21-22. Read 22.
And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Yasharel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Yasharel.
So though they get an inheritance, what does it say in the book of Leviticus? Go back to verse 45.
Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession.
As you can see, the strangers who sojourn, who receive inheritance among the children of Israel, will be possessions, bondmen, and servants of the children of Yasharal, as matched by Isaiah 14 verses 1-2 and Amos 9:11-12. Verse 46.
And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession.
They shall be your bondmen forever. Forever. So that is why we're telling people redemption is for the children of Yasharal. These are the promises for the children of Yasharal that the Gentiles, the strangers, do not get. The strangers are saved but they are saved to serve the children of Yasharal. Why? Because the Most High is a righteous judge. How many times people have told us, boy, when you speak to people, I just can't understand why our people are like this. Why have we have to be suffering so long? Why? Huh? The Heptones have a song that we play on Just a Road Radio. It's called Suffering So. And it says, history will show how long we have been suffering. Suffering so. How long we have been suffering. How long the Gentiles have been reigning supreme. How long? Look at the nations who are ruling the earth. The Gentiles. Which of our nation is a world power? None. Our people live in poverty most places throughout this earth. We have gotten no justice. We are proverbs and bywords. The Most High is a righteous judge. And this is why for the 1,000 years, he is going to give us double. Let's go to the book of Isaiah and tell you why the Gentiles have to serve his people. Isaiah 61. Let's read the gospel. Isaiah 61, start at verse 1. This is us it is referring to here, our people. Go ahead, please.
The Ruach.
Oh. You can read it from this, please.
The Ruach of Yahuwah Eluah is upon me, because Yahuwah hath anointed me to preach the good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah, and the day of vengeance of our Eluah, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them
Hold on. You see this thing here? And the day of vengeance. So, what did he say? Let me get another verse to match that. That day of vengeance. Why that day of vengeance? Zechariah 1, verse 12. Verse 12. Start at verse 12.
Then the Malachim of Yahuwah answered and said, O Yahuwah Zebaoth, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Yehuda, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And Yahuwah answered the Malachim that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the Malachim that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith Yahuwah Zebaoth, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease.
This is why they are going to face his wrath. This is why everything has to be turned around. The heathen are at ease, living their lives and running the world as if the Most High does not exist, with no regard whatsoever for his people. For I was
but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith Yahuwah Zebaoth, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem.
That's it. The Most High is going to return to Jerusalem with mercies, and let's see the mercies in Isaiah 61. We had reached the day of vengeance, so go to verse 3.
To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah, that he might be exalted.
So when the Most High makes his move, let's see what's going to happen to us. And they shall
build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities. the desolations of many generations.
They shall restore the tabernacle of David. And let's see what's going to happen.
And strangers shall
Stand and feed your flocks.
and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers.
So no more hard toiling. We will be kings. Yeah? We'll be dons, kings. Continue.
But ye shall be named the priests of Yahuwah. Men shall call you the ministers of our Eluah. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their splendor shall ye boast yourselves.
You see? Servitude. Eating the riches of the Gentiles. Now, verse 7 is the verse that we're looking for. Remember, we said why this has to happen. Here he tells us, verse 7.
For your shame ye shall have double.
For your shame you shall have double. So, our people have been in captivity 400 to 500 years. Some places it says 500. What is the double we shall have for our shame? 1,000-year reign with us being in charge and the Gentiles being our servants. As they have done to us for 400 to 500 years, it shall be done to them. Read verse 7, please.
For your shame ye shall have double, and for your confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them.
Verse 8.
For I, Yahuwah, love judgment.
That's it. Judgment. To think that the Gentiles would have do all that they have done to us and get away with it and then just be equal to us, nice and comfy and everything in the kingdom, it is a lie. Yahuwah says he loves judgment. Yahuwah is the righteous judge. He renders unto every man what he has done. And in Revelation 13:10 he says, he that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword
shall be killed with the sword.
All right. And in the book of Jeremiah, he said this. In the book of Jeremiah 30, verse 15 to 16.
Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee.
So our fathers, our foreparents, we went through all that we went through because of our sins. Because Yeshurun waxed fat and grew thick and rejected Yahuwah. That's why we went through it. But in the end, verse 16 tells us what's going to happen.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
The righteous judge. Continue.
And all thine adversaries,
every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Yeah, that's it. Yahuwah is the righteous judge. The Gentiles will have to pay. They will be in servitude to the children of Yasharal, rejuvenating the tabernacle of David. The tabernacle of David. And let's go to the tabernacle of David and see what will happening. And I think that is where we should end it. The tabernacles of David, 2 Samuel, I think it is in chapter 8, I think. Yes. 2 Samuel chapter 8.
And after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them. And David took Methagama out of the hand of the Philistines. And he smote Moab and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts.
Servitude. This is the tabernacle of David that is going to be restored. Verse 3.
David smote also Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, and he went to recover his border at the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,000 chariots, and 700 horsemen, and 20,000 footmen. And David hoed all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 22,000 men.
Mm-hmm.
Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David
and brought gifts.
And Yahuwah preserved David whithersoever he went.
This is going to be restored in the end, people. Continue.
And David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Betha and from Bethrai, cities of Hadadezer, King David took exceeding much brass.
Continue.
And from Betha,
when
Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had smitten all the host of Hadadezer, then Toi sent Joram, his son, unto King David, to salute him and to barak him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and smitten him. For Hadadezer had wars with Toi, and Joram brought with him vessels of silver, and vessels of gold, and vessels of brass.
That's why it says in the end, you shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. Continue.
Which also King David did dedicate unto Yahuwah with silver and gold, that he had dedicated of all nations.
Continue. Go to verse 13.
And David gat him a name when he returned from smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Salt, being 18,000 men. And he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom he put garrisons. And all they of Edom became David's servants. And Yahuwah preserved David whithersoever he went.
Servants, 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 servants. Gentile servants, Syrian servants, Edomite servants, everyone's servants. This is what is going to happen in the end, people. So, how long have we been on this? I didn't even think I even started. Yeah, start the recording. 1 hour and a half. So it kind of adds up. 1 hour and a half for this one. And yeah, I think we looked at that. Yeah, just one more. There are so many of them. Let me just throw in this one more. Proof from the Torah that Acts 15:19-20 must be non-Israelites. Read Acts 15, starting at verse 18, please. We're going to show that these must be non-Israelites, Gentiles.
Known unto Eluah are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them, which from among the Gentiles are turned to Eluah, but that we write unto them, that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. For Moshe of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Shabbat day.
All right, so this was Kepha, I think, speaking this. Is that Kepha or James? I think it's Kepha, Peter. Notice in verse 20, he wrote unto the Gentiles that they abstain from pollution of idols, from fornication, from things strangled, and from blood. Now, if these were Israelites that he is speaking to, he would actually be telling them to sin. Because there are several laws that are for Israelites that have been left out. One of the laws is in Deuteronomy 14:21.
Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates.
So, why is that missing from Acts 15:20? It is because Acts 15:20 is not directed to Israelites. It is directed to Gentiles. Otherwise, you would have to tell them, make sure you do not eat anything that dieth of itself. But what did he say? Do not eat things that are strangled and things and blood. You see that? All right. Now they started showing that. There are many more that we have. Could even do a part 3, but I only hope that this is it. It is obvious. It is not even something that needs to be, you have to try to prove. It is too obvious that salvation is also for the true Gentiles, but it is a bittersweet moment for them because their salvation is servitude. The redeemed of Yahuwah, these are those who will experience all of the promises. Here is the advantage with being an Israelite. We're going to go to Romaim 3:1.
You didn't put on the screen.
Oh. Go ahead.
What advantage then hath the Yahudim? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly, because that unto them were committed the oracles of Alua.
Unto them were committed the oracles of Yahuwah. So they say everyone is equal. There is no advantage. The oracles means an utterance of Alua. That means the words of Alua. And what words were given unto them of Alua? You just need to go to Romans 9, which we looked at before, verse 3.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from a Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the splendor and the covenants and the giving of the Torah and the service of Alua and the promises.
And the promises. Verse 5.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh Hamashiach came.
So can Yahuwah break his promise? All of these things that we just read that he promised for Israel in the prophets, can he break it? Huh? Can Yahuwah break his promise?
No.
No, he cannot break it. So the promises have to come true. So all of these things are for the redeemed of Yasharal. That is why the nations will have to serve them. That is the advantage with being an Israelite, being redeemed. The promises are ours. Salvation available to all, but the redeemed shall enjoy the promises because the redeemed have been the least upon this earth. We have been the tail, and when we are redeemed, we shall become the head. That's it. So those Gentiles will be saved. They will be saved to serve. Some will be serving as servants and bondmaids, and some of them will be serving in their nation to bring their riches unto the children of Yasharal. That's just how it is. That's what the scriptures say, and that's where we will end today. All right. Do you have anything to say?
There's some stuff on the YouTube.
Right. Yeah. Huh? Ah, that was it. That was it. Let me see. Where is it again? Part 2. All right, 46 people watching. All right, what's it saying here? Let me see from the top. The Nethinims were also called Netzarim and Natzarim. They were Gibeonites, Ashkenazi, Amorite. Gibeonites were temple helpers who later took over the priesthood. Okay. This one's a person, Kelly Dunn. Thank you for directing me to the previous teaching. It always surprises me how many concepts have been twisted around by religion. Second Baruch 72, every nation which has not trodden down the seed of Jacob shall be spared, but all those who have ruled over you shall be given to the sword. Yes.
What is the meaning of Jeremiah 30:11?
What is the meaning of Jeremiah 30:11? What am I on? Jeremiah 30:11. For I am with thee, saith Yahuwah, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. The full end of the nations means the nations will be destroyed, but a remnant will be left from the nations. Okay? Whenever the Most High says a full, he always leaves a remnant. In the book of Obadiah 1:18, he says, there shall be none remaining of the children of Esau. And he said, I, Yahuwah, has said it. But then in Amos 9:11-12, he tells us that the children of Israel will possess the remnant of Edom. So the nations will be destroyed, but he will leave a remnant from each of them. If Yahuwah is only interested in saving Yasharal, he wouldn't send Jonah to Nineveh, all right? Israelites were captives in Nineveh, an area of Assyria. Oh boy, so there we go again. Trying to find Israel in everything that is for the Gentiles, please. Yahuwah already foreknew that many will reject his salvation, thus a remnant. Many nations will be destroyed due to their own rejection. Did you read and understand the book of Jonah? Yahuwah sent Jonah to Nineveh because of captives, but they lost the entire city. This person said the lost in the city of Nineveh were Israelites. All other nations are their own gods. No, that's not what it said. It says the king and the entire nation were in sackcloth and ashes. Where do you get this, Israelite? All right? Hear this person. You are in error. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words, Yahushua of Nazareth. So here's another person with the same Hebrew Israelite programming. Come on. We showed you, and I made sure I took my time on it to show you that it is a deception of joining two different conversations in one, two different contexts of a conversation in one. Yeah? It is like I'm saying, I'm speaking to someone and I'm saying, Amakai, go into town and pick up a bag of corns for me. And then I turn to El Shaddai and says, El Shaddai, hear this word. Remember we were speaking yesterday about going over into the farm. It's like joining them together and saying that this that I said to Amakai now applies to El Shaddai. You understand what I'm saying? It's fusing two different contexts together into one to make it sound as if it's only Yasharal. You're saying you're trying your hardest to make that clear scripture fit your understanding. I know this person. This person always comes on. And, I understand sometimes when people block people. Because if you are speaking, if you're speaking to someone over time, months upon months, and these people just won't get it. And all they do is stand in opposition, trying to bring confusion to the word. It means that they are not there to learn or to rationalize. They are there just for contention, because his words are always abusive. And what's the word for it? I'm not good with these words. You are trying your hardest to make that clear scripture fit your understanding. You don't have to say that. Say something like, this is not what it says, such and such. Yeah? And he always comes and says, you are in error. Always. And I said to him, that means that you know everything. Because this is an awakening, and we are in an awakening, and we are learning, and you are there. You must be the Almighty to say, everything that I say, you say it is in error. Huh? Obviously. All right. Immerse. Oh, Brian Bino, immerse means baptize. All right. There are certain people that just go in the comments and they're like mischievous. And this is one of them. This truly best 10. All right.
Using the I'm not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Yasharel.
That's what he's using.
He or she, I don't know who that is.
I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. Huh? Yes. Gentiles are saved by Emanah. He was sent to the lost sheep of the children house of Yasharal. Yes, he was sent to Israelite, but he was also prophesied to be a light to light the Gentiles. And if you watch our previous video, we looked into light and darkness and showed you what light means. All right? Mm. And that we said, he's putting salvation is of the Jews. We looked at this in our previous one, I think. Salvation is of the Jews, and shows that salvation starts with Judah. Judah comes first, then the house of Israel next, then the Gentiles next. Yeah? It is lack of understanding. And these people who do these things are religious. So you're saying Gentiles will have to be saved first to be slaves in the kingdom. They cannot enter the kingdom being unrighteous. You just have to go to Joel. Let me show you where it says it. In
X10.
Yeah, no, we go Amos first, because you have to go to the law and to the testimony. Amos 9:12. Amos 9:12. Read it, please. Hold on, let me make sure it's on the screen. Yeah, read it, please.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom,
and of all the heathen which are called by my name,
saith Yahuwah that doth this.
The heathen being called by Yahuwah's name is an indication that these heathen are saved before they are possessed. And you were saying Acts 10? All right, Acts 10. Acts 10, let me get, where am I? Oh yes, Acts 10. This Hebrew Israelite doctrine is like a disease, blinding our eyes. I'm telling you. Where is it again? 34. Uh, 34, 35.
Then Kepha opened his mouth and said, of a truth I perceive that Eluah is no respecter of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him.
Mm-hmm. So that is not the one that I wanted first. It most of all, it is in the book of Acts 15:8. Acts 15:8.
And Eluah, which knoweth the hearts, bear them witness, giving them Ruach HaKadosh, even as he did unto us.
So, are you saying that the Gentiles were given Ruach HaKadosh and they were not saved? Is Ruach HaKadosh, which is the Ruach of the Father, the Ruach Mashiach, given to a Gentile, is it so cheap that it means that the Gentiles shall be given the Ruach and not be saved? Let's go to verse 11.
But we believe that through the favor of Yahuwah, the master, through the favor of Yahuwah, Yahusha Mashiach,
Of the Master Yahushua.
of the Master Yahusha Mashiach, we shall be saved.
No. You can't run over that. This is the most important thing. And you just run over it. But we believe that through the favor of the Master Yahusha HaMashiach, we shall be saved even as they. The Gentiles is referring to. We, the Israelites, shall be saved even as they, the Gentiles, are saved. So you just will not wrap it around your neck because you have gone to a foregone conclusion. Yeah?
But somebody said a good point. It says, as being discussed,
Mm-hmm.
Gentiles can be saved, but the precedent in Numbers 2:1-34 shows they camped separately. In Nehemiah 13:3, they were separated.
Yeah. And let me show him something again. Let's go to Deuteronomy, to the law and to the testimony. Let's go to when the children of Israel were going into the kingdom the first time. Let's see what happened. And this is what's going to happen again. Deuteronomy what? 29. Read, please.
These are the words of the covenant, which Yahuwah commanded Moses to make with the children of Yasharel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moses called unto all Yasharel, and said unto them, Ye have seen all that Yahuwah did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim unto Pharaoh, and unto all his servants, and unto all his land.
All right, so two significant things here. The covenant was with the children of Israel. And he had to make a covenant with them beside the first covenant that he made with them in the land of Moab. So before entering into the kingdom, the children of Israel we will have to go into the covenant again. That is why in Ezekiel 20, he says he will bring us into the bond of the covenant. That is the second covenant. Okay? So, let's see the people who will be going into the kingdom. Verse 10.
Ye stand this day, all of you, before Yahuwah your Eluah, your captains of your tribes, your elders, and your officers with all the men of Yasharel, your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water.
So let's see now. Will it be only the children of Israel who will be going into the covenant? Will it be only what is going to happen to the stranger? Because according to their analogy, the stranger cannot be saved before entering into the kingdom because the stranger cannot be saved. But what does Deuteronomy 29, which shows when they left Egypt and were going into Israel? Let's see what happened to the stranger. Were they left out? Was the covenant only with Israel and the strangers were left in their unrighteousness? Let's see what it says. Verse 12.
That thou shouldest enter into a covenant with Yahuwah thy Eluah, and into his oath which Yahuwah thy Eluah maketh with thee this day, that he may establish thee today for a people unto himself, that he may be unto thee a Eluah, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov.
All right, so here we go now. Verse 14.
Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath.
Hey, who was he addressing? Children of Yasharal. And he says, neither with you Israelites only do I make this covenant and this oath. But verse 15 says,
but with him that standeth here with us this day before Yahuwah our Eluah, and also with him that is not here with us this day.
Look at this. But with him that standeth here with us, the children of Israel this day. Who stood with the children of Israel this day? You have to go to verse 10.
The strangers.
Look and tell me which out of this list is not an Israelite. Because the covenant was made with them as well. You stand this day before Yahuwah your Eluah. Your captains of your tribes, these are Israelites. Your elders, these are Israelites. Your officers are Israelites. All the men of Israel are Israelites. Your little ones are Israelites. Your wives are Israelites. And thy stranger that is in thy camp is not an Israelite. So, verse 15, with him that standeth here with us this day before Yahuwah our Eluah is the stranger. And he made the covenant with the stranger, although the covenant is with Yasharal. That is why it says in Isaiah 56, when it's speaking about the stranger that joined themselves to Yahuwah, he says, everyone that taketh hold of my covenant. The stranger has to go into covenant. And then he's going to tell Moses why he has to do this. Start from 15 going into 16, please. But with him
that standeth here with us this day before Yahuwah our Eluah, and also with him that is not here with us this day. For ye know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which you passed by. And ye have seen their abominations, and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them. Lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day from Yahuwah our Eluah, to go and serve the Elohim of these nations. Lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood.
So what is Yahuwah saying here? The strangers have to take hold of my covenant just like you, just so they do not go into the kingdom and do what? And sin. That is why in the end time, the stranger, the Gentile, has to be saved, to be servants to go into the kingdom. These are servants. They are the hewers of woods and the drawers of water, and they had to be saved before they go into the kingdom, lest they go into the kingdom and sin. Yes? I guess that's it. Doesn't make any sense. That
But somebody said, John 14:15. How can I subject myself to Yahuwah's chosen remnant? By physically moving where his chosen are, by learning from those whom he gives wisdom, by financial support, question mark.
Where is that?
Above the guy that's trying to harass you.
All of the above. All of the above. You see, his children are in the gathering. He's gathering his children right now. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yasharal. The strangers should, all of the above, physically moving where his chosen people are, learning from those whom he gives wisdom and financial support, and anything else you can do for his people. That's just how it is. All right? So, that's it. Nothing else? Huh? You're reeling this truly blessed. Huh?
But you see,
It's a Hebrew Israelite deception.
yeah, but you see the last thing he just said, Matthew 15:26. But he answered and said, "It is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs." The problem is, I don't know what you were saying in the beginning. I forget the difference between a priori and posteriori, whichever.
A priori is what he's doing.
Yeah, he's just taking something out of context and not
Yes.
reading the whole thing. If he read the whole thing, he'll find out for himself.
But that's how the Hebrew Israelites do it. They pick out the verse and leave the rest of the context. Yes, just like you are no different from a Christian truly blessed 10. You're just picking out verses. If you notice, our teachings are detailed. A lot of the things that you're talking about, we have broken them down in detail. But you just pick out. And he said, "It is not me to cast the children's bread and take the children's bread and cast it to dogs." What about the rest of the context? What happened after that? That is a priori.
And then in verse 28, Yahusha tells the woman, "O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt."
You forget about
what
that.
happened there?
Hey. All right, so that's it. Thank you all for watching, and it was a pleasure coming here. Remember, this goes with part 1 that was about 50 odd minutes, and that power cut separated both, but we are happy to be able to be here. And remember, this is part of a 3-part package. First teaching we did about redemption, that redemption is only available for Yasharal. In part 2, we looked at the question of whether Yasharal alone can be saved. And in this part 3, we looked at whether Gentiles will be saved can be saved before entering into the kingdom. And the conclusion was the redemption, the redeemed of Yahuwah are given the promises and all of that the Gentiles who are also saved are not given. But the Gentiles are saved so as to serve the redeemed, the prized possession, the apple of Yahuwah's eyes, the children of Yasharal who have been suffering for the past how many hundreds of years under the curses of the law because of what we have done and turned against him. And he is going to gather us together again and bring us into the kingdom, and the nations shall serve us from within as bondmen and bondwomen, and also the nations shall give us the riches. We shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their splendor we shall boast ourselves. All right? So, saved to serve. Gentiles can be saved, but saved to serve. Redemption for Yasharal. Redemption of the set apart chosen people of the Most High. All right? Thank you all for listening. Remember, this is a presentation of JAW Radio, JAWRADIO, our Android app. You can download that from the Google Play Store. Just search for JAW Radio, JAW space radio. That is our 24/7 online radio with teachings, music, whatever, online just for you. And thank you all for listening and watching. All right, until next time, shalom. Is what? Huh? Huh?
He said, "Your reader said, I'm trying to harass you." I'm not trying to harass you.